of the BJP government notifying the labor codes. So the central trade unions have decided to go on a strike, and in this conference, we first have to take a resolution supporting the strike. So I'll be placing a resolution supporting the strike. The 18th Conference of Indian Trade Unions fully supports the decision of the Joint Platform of Trade Unions for a general strike, demanding repeal of the 4 labor codes, and the strike is tentatively decided to be held on 12th February. It will be formally announced in a national convention which will be held in Delhi in Surjit Bhavan on 9th of this month, of January, I mean. So the call for the general strike is supported by the Sanyukta Kisan Morcha. It resolves to mobilize all its energies and resources to ensure emphatic success of the general strike. This one-day strike is just a warning bell to the BJP-led NDA government at the center. If the Modi-led government attempts to forcibly implement the labor codes through notifying the rules and other measures, workers will answer with multi-days general strike and higher forms of resistance in the coming days and continue their fight till the labor codes are scrapped. The conference notes the massive nationwide protests on 26 November 2025 across more than 500 districts in thousands of locations at workplaces, industrial areas, rural regions and blocks. Workers from organized and unorganized sectors, public sector employees, government employees and scheme workers and others all express their resentment and anger against the labor codes through these protest demonstrations. They were joined by the agricultural workers, farmers, students, youth, and large numbers and also women. These reflect the growing unity of workers and farmers, the two productive forces of the country. The 4 labor codes constitute a comprehensive attack on labor rights won through more than a century of struggles. They are meant to weaken the trade unions by restricting the right to organize and strike. They extend working hours, facilitate hire and fire, expand contractualization, fixed-term employment, and apprenticeship without any safeguards, dilute occupational safety, dismantle inspections, weaken labor adjudication, and decriminalize employers' violations of labor statutes while intensifying repression of workers' struggles. The BJP-led government has totally disregarded tripartism and did not convene the Indian Labour Conference since the last 10 years, despite repeated demands by the trade unions. It has abruptly notified the labor codes despite the stiff opposition from almost all the working class, except the BMS, and BMS also welcomed 2 labor codes and it had reservations against the other 2. It is spending hundreds of crores of rupees of public money in deceptive propaganda, seeking to mislead the workers and the common people about the so-called benefits of the labor codes. The 18th Conference of CITU reiterates that the notification of labor codes is a desperate attempt by the ruling corporate communal nexus to address or resolve the systemic crisis of capitalism in favor of the capitalist class by attacking the basic and hard-won rights of the working class. It is a measure to gift their corporate bosses with union-free workplaces and enable them to extract super profits. The conference also asserts that the attacks on the constitutional and democratic rights of the people, the attacks on autonomous institutions, on federalism, the display of neo-fascist characters by the ruling dispensation, and the attempts to flame communal and divisive passions and disrupt unity of the working people. These are all part of these desperate attempts. They are not strength of the ruling classes or the strength of the BJP-led government, but they are desperate attempts of the ruling classes to address the present crisis of the capitalist system. The general strike represents a decisive assertion of the collective will of the working people to defend their rights, livelihoods, and democratic values in the process of further heightening and intensifying the united combat against the crimes being committed on the people's rights and livelihood, and also on the national economy. Therefore, this 18th Conference of CITU fully supports the countrywide general strike called by the Joint Platform of Central Trade Unions and the All India Sectoral Federations and Associations. It demands immediate repeal of all the 4 labor codes. It calls for strengthening the unity of workers, farmers, youth, and other toiling sections against the pro-corporate, anti-people policies. The 18th Conference of CITU calls upon all its affiliated unions, state committees, and all India federations and coordination committees to start preparations for the success of the general strike immediately. It calls upon all the workers of the country, irrespective of their affiliations, to gird up their loins for the united fight to force the anti-worker government to scrap the labor codes. The conference reminds the working class the need of our class unity, that this is the fight it cannot afford to lose. So with these words, I am placing the resolution on behalf of the entire Presidium and for your acceptance. Those who accept, please raise your hands, and also let us accept this resolution with thundering applause. Thank you.